Hey guys, I'm the Fallen Jedi and welcome back to another video. Today's video, I will be ranking all 22 characters in Star Wars Battlefront 2 from worst to best. Now I know this video is definitely not going to please everyone because this is my own opinion on who I think is the best characters in the game. And now I know also I'm not the best at the game, so there may be hate towards some characters that I just struggle to use. But this is just all my opinion, so make sure you stay to the end of the video and see my thoughts on who's the best character. Before I start the video, make sure you like and subscribe for more ranking videos, Star Wars news, gaming videos. It would be much appreciated. Make sure to let me know your favourite characters down below in the comment section below. Okay, I'm going to dive right into it. Let's do it! So coming in at last place is the droid BB9E. When the second last update of Battlefront came out and they brought the droids as new characters, I was really quite excited to play as a droid because we have never been able to use a droid as a character in the history of Battlefront. Don't get me wrong, I think BB9E is an okay character because like playing as a droid is really fun, but I find that it definitely is not he's not good in like any mode. I think maybe Supremacy or Galactic Assault you can rack up some kills, but to be fair, his abilities are trash. I don't like the shock spin as he always pushes away the enemies and deals like no damage. The smoke screen is the only okay ability as you try to escape from combat and all that with it, but you can have annoying characters who can shoot through the smoke as they use their aim assist. Personally, I find it hard to get kills with BB9E, and I'm not too successful with BB9E in any other mode. So now coming in at second last is Finn. Now I am sure most people would have Finn pretty low. I do see some high level Finns and on a rare occasion, but when I do, I question how. Like to be honest, I find that Finn is legitimately a filler in the game just to make it even with 11 characters on both sides. I understand he is a main character from the sequels, but there could have been better characters to use over him. I find his Deadeye ability is not the best, as I prefer Lando's one. I feel like it deals more damage, but it's more directed towards just normal troops instead of heroes. I don't mind his undercover team ability, but to be fair, he's not the best to play, and I don't have as much fun with him as I do with other characters. There's not too much exciting about him, I don't think. I just think he's just a normal blaster character. But the thing is, the reason why he is not last is because I have more kills or like more kill streaks with Finn than BB9E. So now coming in at 20th place is Captain Phasma. Yeah, I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but I'm just not a fan of her. Yes, you can lighten people down with her blaster, but I've never been successful with her. I do find her Star Strike should deal a little bit more damage because they don't do much, to be honest. I'm not really a type of person that just likes standing next to a droid, waiting for someone to run to the droid to be shocked, then just lighten them down. I just want to get into the battles and just not really camp. I think her main ability is standard, but then again, I don't have much fun with her. I'm definitely going to try her a lot more to see if I can actually handle her, but she's never quite done it for me. She stands at 20th because I don't enjoy her as much, and I'm not the best at aiming with her, which is my trashy ass skills. But it's just my experience so far with her, so that's why she's 20th. So now coming in at 19th is Yoda. Yes, Yoda is the worst lightsaber character in the game. Yeah, it's fun playing with Mr. Green Man or one of the goats, but to be fair, it's a real struggle playing with him. His Unleash ability is what I think makes him seem decent, as you can push so many people off the edge, or just kill people with the ability, but that is basically it. The dash strikes I find are hard to control, it doesn't deal too much damage, and even when you do deal that damage, more damage anyway comes your way because when you're in the motion of using your dash strike, you just get hit anyway. The Presence ability is just basically the same ability as Phasma's, just standard. I feel like Yoda needs a buff, but we ain't going to get one because of EA. Now coming in at 18th is Han Solo. Now this is going to hurt a lot of people. With Han, I've never been successful with him. I find his abilities are really good, especially the detonate charge when it connects. The shoulder charge is very good for an escape ability if you're first in like a saber character or you're low for health, so you can put them off their feet by using that ability. The sharpshooter ability is nice, does some decent amount of damage, but the one thing I have with Han, and yes, it comes from my poorish aiming skills, but is the dot as the aim assist. I really hate that aim assist. Such a tiny area to aim. I just have the continued struggle with Han. Like, I definitely think he can play in every mode, to be honest, and I'm not surprised about how people love him and all, but I just find it personally so hard to shoot with him. I do think he is one of the best, he has one of the best ability lineups out of all the characters, but it just doesn't help me for the ranking. Coming in at 17th is Emperor Palpatine. Now, I got to say Palpatine was probably my least favorite character when the game launched. Through the years, he had some fixes, which have been good for him. Now, I will say I was late to the game when Palpatine was so OP. If you knew how to play with him, but I got to say I never really joined that toxic party. I understand Palpatine is fun to use, and he definitely is, but when people were just being really good with him and just being so toxic with spamming jump and throwing all those abilities at you, I just didn't want to be him and I didn't want to join that party. I got too frustrated with him and just didn't have as much motivation for him. I will say though, he definitely is a fun character to use. He has two nice abilities with the Chain Lightning and an Electrocute, but his main ability and the Dark Aura is poor, to be honest. It doesn't do too much. Now, I can't say too much as I haven't played with him enough, but he is okay to play with. But he is sitting at 19th because I didn't really want to join that toxicity of Palpatine. So now coming in at 16th is BB-8. To be honest, I really like using this droid. I find his cable spin is really OP. It is really fun to use, especially if you're playing like Galactic Assault, Supremacy, or even co-op. As you can just kill everyone pretty quick with the ability if it's in a closed area and it's like very close and everyone's like in this one big section or checkpoint or something. You have the most fun with it when you go into like obviously a congested area and use the cable spin. The other abilities are just okay. I think the only downfall is he is hard to use in HVV, which is a mode I play the most, and it is a droid, which makes it hard to get more kills normally. If I was ranking heroes of Galactic Assault or Supremacy, BB-8 would be much higher, but as a whole, I think he is fine with 16th. So now, coming in at 15th is Boba Fett. Now, I will say I am not too good with Boba at all, as you will see by this gameplay. But the reason is, he is higher than the others is because he is super fun to play with. I love his rocket barrage ability, not a huge one on the concussion rocket, but it's still decent. Boba is definitely a character that you can use in every mode. If you know how to play with him, you're going to be really OP and he's very toxic to play against. But he is really fun when you get the logistics of him. But one of the reasons why he isn't as high is because he is restricted to certain maps. He needs open maps so you can have more space to fly away or just fly and spam your abilities. I really like him for Geonosis as you have a lot of space, but I was disappointed that his jetpack got lowered, meaning like less time flying until you need to wait for it to recharge. Overall, I think he's just a standard character that, you know, I really have enjoyed playing with him, even though I'm not the best with him. So now, coming in at 14th is Count Dooku. Dooku, I have definitely lost interest over the few months playing with him, as I find his abilities are not as good, besides his lightning stun, which I find is really cool. I just find those other two abilities, the exposed weakness and duelist, are pretty boring. I do say that the duelist can be okay, to be fair, but I just don't really enjoy using him. I do find he is one of the best one-on-one characters for like HVV or Hero Showdown. He has some nice striking combinations. His overall stamina is just average. But one also thing that he is 14th is because there are a lot of other better characters that I use over him. I find that he's just an average character in every mode and doesn't stand out to me, to be honest. But that's why he is 14th. So now coming in at 13th is Luke Skywalker. Now, I am not saying Luke is bad. I think he's a really good character, but just not one of my favorites. This is because I find his dash strike the same as Yoda's dash strike. It doesn't do much damage and it is very hard to control. I find also when you're in the motion of using that ability, you take more damage than you give to your opponent. The repulse ability is a nice ability, but it is quite an easy ability to escape from, as you can just roll out of it because it doesn't cover as much of an area. The push ability though is very nice. I think that does great damage and obviously gives you time to defeat your opponents as they are on the ground. But to be honest, I haven't given Luke much of a chance, but I do think he is fun to use. I love some of his lightsaber combinations. I think they are really good. I do know a lot of people love using him, but I haven't been the biggest fan of him over the years. That's why he is at 13th. Coming in at 12th is Lando. Now I think Lando is probably one of my best characters to use in Galactic Assault or Supremacy. The reason for this is his ability, the Sharp Shot. It is so good. I just love running into battle. I love to throw my smoke down so enemies have trouble seeing through the smoke, and then get my Sharp Shot ability ready so I just come out and kill them when they are out of sight from me. I do think his blaster needs a bit of a buff, as I don't think it does as much damage as other blaster characters, but I really do just love playing with him. The only ability I have that isn't the best is his Disabler, because it takes some time to use it, as you have to throw it and then detonate it when you think it's ready to shock the enemies. I've had a really good time with Lando over the years of Battlefront, and that's why he comes down at 12th. So now coming in at 11th is ObiWan. This I find is a hit or miss for a lot of people, because some people either like him or do not. I put him directly in the middle because I do really like using him, as I have grown more interest in Obi-Wan Kenobi over the years. He has some really good lightsaber combinations in the game. He is definitely the best defensive player, but as soon as you know how to use him properly, it definitely will get easier for you. I find him as one of the best 1v1 characters. He has great stamina, the all-out push is really good, but now it's becoming easier to block when using a saber character. The Mind Trick ability is a big bonus, as the opponent's abilities are turned off when you use it for a bit, and gives you a chance to deal as much damage as possible if they aren't parrying you a lot. I only don't like his defensive rush. It is only good on GA or Supremacy, not HVV, whereas the HVV mode is the mode I play the most. I think he's really fun to use, and I have a really good experience with him. He's not high because I prefer the other 10 that are left. Now coming in at 10th is General Grievous. Now I know a lot of people would have him top 5 now after the Scarif update, because his Claw Rush is so overpowered. It is a lot easier to control it, as you can do circles around the characters or like enemies or whatever to hit them like up to probably 3 times, and they would just be low health. It is so overpowered. His Thrust Surge is a nice ability that can help you get your opponent off their feet. It definitely does do more damage now. His main ability is extremely poor though for Grievous. It's such a cool ability, but it does legit nothing at all. I have had no success at all with the ability. Grievous is definitely too overpowered now and must be nerfed with that Claw Rush. He is not as high because even though he is really strong now, I just find he has very low stamina and is quite slow. But obviously he is definitely very fun to use. I know a lot of people have him a lot higher than I would, and know a lot of people would give me hate for this. But the thing is, I find that he needs to be nerfed, and when he is nerfed, he is just going to be a regular character. I just find him not as fun at the moment with his Claw Rush. It is really overpowered, and it really pisses me off when you get hit by that Claw Rush a few times. Now coming out at 9th is Chewbacca. Now EA have made a lot of changes to Chewbacca, as he was my favourite character in the game when it was launched. He was my first ever level 40 character. Also, he was probably the most overpowered character to use at that time. His Furious Bowcaster was so strong back then. But now, he definitely has moved down the ranks. I think the changes were necessary for him. He definitely isn't as good as he was before. He's still a really fun character to use. The lineup combination of his abilities are one of the best. Just use the Shock Grenade and the Furious Bowcaster and you're going to do a lot of damage. My choice of the characters did change as Chewie was nerfed, and there was other characters I preferred using, but that's all fine. He still deserves a really nice position, and I still really enjoy using him. Coming in at 8th is Rey. Rey is my 3rd favourite light side character to use. This is because she is quite quick. Her dash strike is an awesome ability now as you have more control of it. The Mind Trick is one of the funnest abilities to use, as you can use on enemies, and sometimes they fall off the map from having not enough control of their characters. She has very nice star cards to use in the game that makes her become stronger, but everyone is different of how they like to line up their star cards these days. I just do not find the inside ability that good. I don't use it much in matches. I find I only use it in Galactic Assault Supremacy, not really HVV. She has above average stamina and does some nice lightsaber combinations, but her main ability just puts her off for me. She stands at a solid 8th place, but after the fun years I've had using her in the game, she is still really good and I still really like using her. So now coming in at 7th is Leia. I would have to say that surely everyone would have Leia in their top 10. She has one of the best blasters in the game. Obviously when you don't have rapid fire on her blaster, her blaster isn't as faster, but it still does a lot of damage. I love her secondary fire because it kind of has a bit of a splash damage as it covers the bigger area, so a higher chance to kill more people in one spot. I think with her new ability change of having the grenades was an awesome addition to her, as her last ability was pointless. She does not overheat as quick as some of the other characters in the game. Her aim assist is my second favorite to use in the game. I just find it's a lot easier to hit your targets with it. Obviously she is a healer character, kind of with the squad shield, as it helps allies regenerate health. And it's a nice ability to hide behind if like Bossk or maybe Boba is trying to kill you with their explosives. Overall, I find her very, very good in every mode. She's my go-to character if I want to use a blaster character for the light side in HOV. But the only problem I kind of have with her is that some of the star cards are very pointless. Obviously the game is very unbalanced, but we can't do much about it anyway. So that's why she comes at 7th, but she's still very fun and awesome to use. So now coming in at 6 is Bossk. I just love blowing up enemies with his abilities. His Predator Instincts ability is so overpowered, especially if you have that star card, which is for every kill you get with the ability on, you get more time using that ability. The mines are so good to use in areas that enemies will be coming through. So let's say Death Star 2, you have a lot of areas that people have limited access to go into the capture points, and you can deploy your mines at the front of the entrance and hope for the best that a group comes along and just gets all blown up to bits. The only problem that Bossk has is his blaster sucks only if he can fully charge it and hit the target. And then he will do some damage, but I find that when you just normally shoot with Bossk, he does like no damage. Bossk is definitely one of the easiest characters to kill, as he has the least amount of health in the game. And also his jump isn't as high as before, which definitely made him a little bit lower in the list. He is still a very great character to use in Battlefront 2 though. So now we are finally in our top 5. So coming in at 5th is Darth Maul. Now I know a lot of people were saying in the Battlefront forums that Maul isn't a great pick these days, but I find him as one of the best characters to use in Galactic Assault or Supremacy due to his quick style play. He definitely isn't the best for HVV, but I feel like I can still do well with him anytime I use him. He is definitely the best in big crowds. Saber throw, spin attack and chokehold, rinse and repeat, just use that in big crowds. Even though Maul doesn't deal as much damage as other Saber characters, this is for the reason of how quick he is in the game. His abilities recharge is very quick, especially if you have the star cards for the quickest recharge time for his abilities. I have lots of fun with him, and yeah, that you may, but he doesn't do much damage with Saber Strikes. But if abilities are used well, you can definitely clean up the enemies easily. He is such a fun character to use, and no doubt for him being in my top 5. So now coming in at 4th is Anakin. Now after all the nerfs and fixes he has had over the months being in the game, he still manages to be in my top 5. No doubt he is one of the easiest characters to use if you want to go on a kill streak with his abilities. This dude has 2 abilities that can kill groups of people if using the right star cards, and can knock down 2 villains with no star cards at all. Anakin doesn't really have any weaknesses. Even though his stamina isn't great, you can fix it with a star card, or you can just work around it as his stamina regens really fast. I think he's a perfect hero for any mode. He is definitely my favorite hero in the game, and that is why he is at the number 4 spot. Coming in at 3rd is Darth Vader. Not much has to be said about him. He is just so overpowered. He makes the game so unbalanced as he has nearly 1000 health, and when he uses his focus rage ability, he has over 1000 health. Can do a lot of damage with his saber. His chokehold is unfair as you can hold them up in the air for a few seconds, throw your saber at the enemy, and then have stamina to finish the enemy off when they fall to the ground. I find that he's the top 5 best character to use in Galactic Assault or Supremacy, but definitely is the strongest character to use in Heroes vs Villains. He is so much stronger than anyone else, it is quite hilarious. I find that if you have no skill in the game, you will still be hard to defeat as Vader. You can just not 1v1 Vader in HOV at all. You need a group to kill him off, which is really annoying. He is an awesome character to use, but definitely is the strongest character in the game by far. Coming in at the second place is Iden Versio. Iden Versio has changed her rankings for me over the years of playing. I heard her as an average character at the start, then liking her, now loving her. Her TR 50 is just so freaking good. That is so funny when you're lighting people down with her gun. I find the secondary fire is so overpowered as you can spam that and kill anyone because no one can block it. You can legit roll away, use it, roll away, use it over and over against a saber character, let's say, and still beat them one-on-one. Her shield ability is really amazing to use when first in a blaster character, as you can flee the battle while regen your health and no one can do damage to you only if you are a saber character. I love her pulse cannon ability. It is always a one-shot kill when you charge it up to full and hit your target. And her stun droid is really good to use, especially against saber characters. She basically has two different abilities that help her regen health, with the stun droid on saber characters and the shield ability for blaster characters. She is a very fun character to use, and that's why she is taking second place. Now for the first place for the ranking, we have Kylo Ren. It is crazy to think of how much Kylo Ren has improved over the course of the year and a half, because if you remember, Kylo was really bad at launch. He had no health on kill, Frenzy was just broken and didn't even work. Now Kylo Ren is a killing spree character. His pull and freeze are perfect together, and I like the variety you can use from him for his abilities and different modes. Let's say for Galactic Assault or Supremacy, I like to use his pull ability more than freeze the enemies, but in HVV I like to deal more damage while using his saber combinations, so I sometimes change my Star Cards loadout for HVV. Kylo is just freaking awesome. He's my favorite character in Star Wars, even though I hate the sequels, but I find he is just the coolest. I like his story in the film though, but I think he has the nicest looking lightsaber in all of Star Wars. I do find Kylo is my favorite character to use in any mode. He is just so consistent, which is amazing. So that's going to do it for me for the video, guys. Make sure to let me know your thoughts of this video down below in the comment section below. Make sure to like and subscribe for future Star Wars videos, streams on this channel. That would be super. Let me know what types of videos you would like to see as well on the channel in the comment section below. If you also want to become a sponsor for my channel, there will be a link in my description of my channel. I don't expect anyone to become a sponsor, but if you want to help the channel out, that would be awesome. There are different reward levels for each sponsorship I have. Thanks for watching, everyone. As always, may the Force be with you.